How to celebrate the strangest year ever. Celebrating the new year is going to be different this year after a challenging and difficult year. We can, however, still reflect back on the past 12 months, think about the future ahead, and acknowledge the new year. For me, it's always the perfect time to take a step back and get clear about where I've been and where I'm going. Now that the new year is around the corner, I'm sharing my proven tips on reflecting back, setting intentions, and goal setting. Hey, it's Lisa G. I help busy bosses crush their goals. For more information, message me on social media. Let's all resolve to make 2021 a triumphant year. Who's with me? Let me know in the comments if you're excited about 2020 ending and new beginnings. Let's all set an intention to make 2021 our most spectacular year yet. How do you do that? Let's jump in with tip number one. Tip number one is set short-term 90-day goals instead of making big resolutions that often fall apart by mid-February. I recommend setting short-term 90-day goals instead of setting long-term unrealistic goals, because shorter goals are easier to track and measure, and this way you can see what's working. So tip number one is making your 2020 resolutions short-term. You should set a quarterly reminder to check in on how you're doing. Personally, I like to reflect and reevaluate what is serving me or not serving me quarterly and yearly as well. After living through the restrictions and uncertainty of the pandemic, think about what are the personal pain points that you've experienced this year and make short 90-day goals to solve those. Some of us may be struggling with emotional balance. Some of us are feeling lonely, and some of us want to get back to the gym. By addressing your specific pain points, you can figure out what short-term goals to set and look forward to the end of the pandemic with good physical and mental health. For those of you still thinking about your long-term goals, you should first review what you've learned during the pandemic. Then base your long-term resolutions on what do you want to keep from the changes you made to cope with the pandemic, and what do you want back from the pre-pandemic time. Tip number two is to make those long-term resolutions. Make a list first of your biggest lessons in 2020. What did you learn this year, both from the good things that happened and from the bad? What can you use from this past year to propel yourself forward in 2021? To help you figure this out, I challenge each of you to take notes and reflect upon these 10 things this New Year's Eve. Number one, what was the single best thing that happened this past year? Number two, what was the single most challenging thing that happened? Number three, what gave you unexpected joy this past year? Number four, what unexpected obstacle came up for you? And number five, what are the 3 words to describe this past year? Let me know in the comments. Number 6, what were your most valuable relationships and who are they with in 2020? Number 7, in what ways did you grow emotionally? Number 8, in what ways did you grow physically? And number 9, in what ways did you grow spiritually? Number 10 is what ways did you grow in your relationships with others? This list will help you uncover your biggest lessons that you learned this past year. Tip number 3, now that you've uncovered your biggest lessons from 2020, approach your 2021 resolutions with those lessons that have revealed themselves during this unusual time. Get crystal clear about your biggest goals. There's probably lots of things you'd like to do in the coming year, but if you could only focus on one thing, what would it be? For many of the busy bosses I work with, weight loss and healthier living fall into that big one on the resolutions list. I help my clients with clarity and a vision on how to make their fitness goals stick. You can make this be the last year that you have fitness goals at the top of your list. Write down what 3 things you must start doing to succeed with your goal. It's all about making routines and habits to get you there one step at a time, and reflecting back every 90 days to see if you're moving closer to your goals or further away. Give these tips a try to live your very best life in the new year. For help crushing your goals, message me on social media. I'm Lisa G, reminding you that your health is your wealth. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you soon.